Good morning, everyone. Well, good afternoon. It's okay to tell day on March 16th, which is a day that Precious Little Ladies Incorporated uses to encourage parents to communicate, to have open communication with their children. Um, as a survivor of sexual abuse, by the way, my name is Aziza Kibibi, and I am the founder and spokesperson for PLL Nonprofit. And I have survived years of sexual abuse and domestic violence. So I started this day because one of the things that happened in my family was that children essentially did not have a voice in the family. It was more of this attitude of don't speak unless you are spoken to, and keep what goes on in the house stays in the house. So while I understand as nucleus families do need to have a sense of privacy within their group and within their structure, children should feel safe enough in their environment to be comfortable with sharing the issues and challenges that they have going on in their life that could negatively impact them. So it's okay to tell day is something that we encourage just to start. It's a tool, it's a practice for parents, families, children to use in order to keep communication open. So I'm going to play just a short video that has some instructions and details on why we started It's Okay to Tell Day.
Reports say that 1 in 4 girls are molested before they turn 18. But in reality, those statistics are only based on what has been reported to authorities, which estimates to be only 12% of actual incidents. Because of the shame and guilt sexual abuse causes in victims, combined with the negativity associated to tattling, children are likely not to report being abused. They fear getting in trouble or even feel responsible for what happened to them. A child is then more likely to keep the secret and the abuse continues. March 16th is It's Okay to Tell Day, and a day that parents can use as a tool to encourage open conversation with their children. The month of March, It's Okay to Tell month, is a time to encourage survivors to speak out unashamed. Let's teach the world that it's okay to tell. For more information on Precious Little Ladies, call 1-877-TELL-PLL, and remember, you are not alone.
Okay, and we're back. So that spoke about some of the statistics associated with child sexual abuse and how it can impact children who are eventually going to grow up to be adults and their lives and their healing process. So one thing that I have done as a mother of 5 is allow my children to express to me their thoughts and feelings. Even if they get in trouble, I do give them some time. And I mean, I know that they're wrong in the situation, but I do allow them a space to explain themselves because I grew up being cut off. Like, if you were accused of doing something wrong, then that was it. You know, mommy and daddy had the final say. They did not allow you to explain themselves or understand or allow you to explain what really happened or defend yourself in any way. And that had a negative impact on me because it essentially silenced me. So when my father started abusing me, even though I did make attempts in my own way as a child of letting people that I had, that the very limited amount of people that I had access to, kind of give them hints that I was not feeling well, or I was not feeling safe within my family, or that I was afraid of my father. It was not really picked up. And if it was, I don't know, maybe it was ignored. So one statistic that I do always share on PLL Nonprofit social media is that only 35% of adults will not believe a child if they disclose being sexually abused. And any percentage is really too much, because you should really believe first and then continue to do research or look into why the child is sharing or saying or making accusations that could impact someone else's life negatively if it was a false accusation. And also create an idea that is so severe and so hurtful to a child. And normally that just doesn't happen. But there are some adults that still don't believe it, or they will pass it off as the child being fast or being, exposed to maybe too much mature content in life. But really, the chances are 9 times out of 10, actually it's more than that. It's actually more than that. If a child comes to an adult saying that someone is touching them inappropriately or they don't feel comfortable around a person, it is true. So it's better to believe first. But because of our society and our cultures and how we have functioned throughout the years, when speaking towards how children are perceived and what children say, how that is perceived, we have developed this practice of not believing children. And it's a problem. It's become problematic because so many children, so much abuse does go unreported. And even outside of children, women and men who have been abused or molested, they feel silence. And it's because of the perpetuation of this keep things quiet culture, and what happens in the house stays in the house culture. It's really created a society where keeping secrets seems to be the thing to do. It seems to be the way that you cope. It seems to be the way that you manage going through life, and it's very damaging. So It's Okay to Tell Day is a day that we encourage parents to allow their children an open window to share whatever it is that they're feeling, their thoughts, their experiences, what's going on with their life, who they don't like, who they do like, with their parents, without fear of repercussions, without fear of being punished, without fear of being grounded. This is basically an open window, a getaway free card to get the child used to communicating their thoughts and feelings without fear. Now, I have employed this. By the time we started It's Okay to Tell Day, many of my children were adults. But I do have my youngest son, who is now 15. I employed this practice with him, even though we have open communication throughout the year. He grew up in a family where he could communicate his thoughts and feelings. And anytime he decided not to, it was because, he knew what he did, or he questioned that if what he did or what he experienced was wrong on his part. So therefore, of course, he's going to be afraid of being punished or being reprimanded. So he looks forward to this day every year. And sometimes even before it comes, even before we are near when we're supposed to celebrate it, which is today, March 16th, he checks with me and says, "Okay, mommy, when is It's Okay to Tell Day? Because I have some things to tell you." And I do have to say, it's very, as a parent, listening to some of the things that kids go through on their daily basis, because he shares what he does with his friends. He shares some of his friends' experiences, what he thinks about them. And it's quite interesting to hear a candid, unfiltered recount of what young people, what children, what middle schoolers and young teenagers go through. I'm like, wow. So, I practice what I preach. I employ these things in my own life, and it works. And I know it works, which is why I am recommending it to other parents. So some of the things that we do, if you go to PLL, actually preciouslittleladies.org. Let's see if I could get the actual Give me 1 second. If I could get the email address up. But it's preciouslittleladies.org. If you go to preciouslittleladies.org, then you can, let me just type it out really quick. Every year we do have a giveaway. We have a giveaway to commemorate preciouslittleladies.org to commemorate It's Okay to Tell Day. So we do that. And if you go to preciouslittleladies.org, there it is, you can sign up, learn how to sign up to earn a free Amazon Kids tablet for your child or your grandchild or your niece and nephew by contributing to a survey that we are doing that explores how parents are maintaining open communication, if they're maintaining open communication with their children. And also it is collecting more information on if a parent was abused in any way as a child, suffered any type of childhood trauma, and how that affects how they raise their children. So that's just a study that we're doing. And if you go to, again, preciouslittleladies.org, you'll find more information on how to participate for It's Okay to Tell Day. And that application, that survey will be open until 11:59 today, March 16th. I do want to read one of the responses that was very encouraging from one of our participants for our survey this year. So it is from, everybody is anonymous unless they choose not to be. So this is, and we get responses from all over the US and even a few overseas. So let's just see, where is this person from? I just want to check, where is this person from? Okay, so this response is actually from, let's see. Okay, so this response is from Washington. From Kay in Washington. She did choose to stay anonymous. So Kay says, parents and children need to maintain an environment that creates a safe space for their children. When my oldest son was 4, he did something wrong. And when I asked him, he answered that he didn't want to tell because he didn't want us to be mad at him. In that moment, I knew we had some work to do in creating that safe space. Now we talk about mistakes both we as parents make, and that it's okay to tell. Now he is very open and honest when something happens at school or if he makes a mistake at the house. We also establish a no secret rule. If a family member gives a treat and says, "Don't tell mommy or daddy," we reinforce that we don't keep secrets. It's okay to tell, but it's also okay to have a special connection with family, especially one-on-one when we have siblings who tend to tag along. But true special connections means do not keep mommy and daddy out of the loop. Now, thank you, Kay from Washington. That is very good advice as far as keeping open communication with your child. And I'm glad that you started young. Her children are young. So it is important to start this behavior young so that you do create a safe feeling environment for children who are growing up, because their formative years are very, very important in developing who the adults that they are going to eventually become is going to be. So a couple of things that we do encourage parents to do, we do have magnets that we give out. Again, if you go to preciouslittleladies.org and click on It's Okay to Tell Day on the pull down menu, we do have magnets that we give away to parents at events. And we also donate to schools where it has It's Okay to Tell. Now what? Because hearing your child disclose if they have been abused or not is traumatic in itself. As parents, what do you do? What is the correct response? So Precious Little Ladies has created our 3-step response. And step number 1 is to stay calm. Don't panic or show anger, because it could scare the victim and they then become silent again. Again, I spoke about this before. Step number 3 is to believe them. Believe them first. It is important to make a child who is disclosing something that is so sensitive and so traumatic, it's important to make them feel believed. And I feel like that's really with anyone who has experienced trauma. I remember when my sisters and I first went to the police to report my father after we escaped him. And I spoke to the detective. And I know that some of it was my response. Some of it was conditioned because my father raised me to be afraid of anybody on the outside, especially law enforcement. So I had already come in with this veil, this filter that I should be afraid of this person, even though I had willingly chosen to share this information and disclose what had been happening to me for almost 20 years at that point. So, but, you know, the energy that I received, that I felt I received, it scared me. It did scare me. I had to push through that fear, but it was difficult to share those experiences because it was essentially my word against my dad's, and I was just afraid that this person who was ended up being very instrumental in catching my father for what he did to me and my sisters. But, I was afraid that he wasn't going to believe me. And if he had any doubts, how detrimental that would have been to whether he gave his all to our case and whether he was invested in catching our father. So being believed for a victim, for a survivor is extremely important. And as a parent, like take that first step first. It's like if there is doubt, let's just say there is doubt. And I see it a lot with people who hear the stories of survivors. And I've experienced it myself. I've been on many platforms where I've spoken, I've shared my story, and people in the comments have said that I was lying. So it's better to believe first and then do your research later, then get more details later, because it is important for a survivor and a victim to feel believed. And then our third step is to protect. Get that child away from the situation as soon as possible, as far away from the situation. And this does 2 things. Practically, of course, it will remove them from an unsafe environment. It will remove them from the alleged abuser, the alleged predator, but it will also make the child feel more confident and protected because they see that you as an adult is doing something and cares about their safety and cares about what they're telling you. So that is the next thing, to protect. And the many things that it does is continue to build confidence in the child when they do disclose, and it helps them to feel more secure, and it helps make their minds clear so that they could give more details in the future. And then you go back and explore the details and in order and find out what you need to know in order to best help them. So again, if you go to our website, preciouslittleladies.org, click on the pull down menu, you can click on It's Okay to Tell and get this information. It's posted on there. And that's about it. Other than that, we encourage for schools to promote It's Okay to Tell, and go to our Instagram, which is PLL Nonprofit, and you'll find more tips on what you could do to help promote and share It's Okay to Tell Day, and also make a donation on our website that is helping us to get the day recognized nationally. so that more people, even outside of New Jersey, our main service area is New Jersey, but we do expand our services across the globe through virtual interactions, virtual counseling, and social media and narrative therapy. So definitely check out our website, preciouslittleladies.org, for more information and also to donate. And on that note, thank you so much. I am going to get ready to continue my day. I do hope that you continue to have a blessed and productive day. And remember, if you have children in your life, if you have survivors in your life, if you have, even for yourself, if whether you are a survivor or not, just know that sharing some of the things that happened to you or sharing some of your experiences could not only help someone else, but it definitely helps yourself. And when we're talking about children, getting those practices and those behaviors instilled in them from the earlier parts of their life really makes for a more confident and secure adult. So on that note, thank you for joining. Be blessed, for you are a blessing. Bye.